So we've got two studies now that have come out. One came out, the Danish study, I've talked about that before in other videos. The Danish study came out and showed that masks, surgical masks, triple layer surgical masks do not protect you from coronavirus. Fact. Your mask is not protecting you. It didn't say that your mask isn't protecting someone else, but if you are the kind of person that believes that a mask will filter out but not filter in, I'd like to say there's no hope for you, because they don't have different filters. So the masks aren't working. That's number one. Masks aren't working. They're not doing what you think they're doing. Assumption number two is that somehow me not wearing a mask, because I'm asymptomatic, I don't have any symptoms, I have no expression of coronavirus or COVID, so therefore me wearing a mask will somehow protect you, because asymptomatic people spread. That's another thing CDC keeps pushing out, is that the asymptomatic people are the ones who are spreading this around. China just came out with a study. There was a study done in Wuhan, China, with lots and lots of people, like 10 million people. And what they found was that asymptomatic people are not spreading this. They're not spreading. So the assumption that asymptomatic people are the ones spreading, that's why everyone needs to be wearing a mask, is completely and factually inaccurate based upon science. And by the way, a study that has 9 million plus people in it, that's a good size study that we can draw some really good conclusions from. And even in that study, that study was done in the journal Nature, and you can go find it. It's open access. You can find that study. Inside that study, when you read it, they did a good job of making sure that people weren't false positives. They ran the PCR test, and they made sure that when they did it they limited the cycle rate so that they weren't getting false positives. So those are the two main assumptions. Number one, masks work, and number two, asymptomatic people spread. Therefore, if asymptomatic people spread, you should always wear a mask. That's why everyone's wearing a mask with these mask mandates. But what the research shows, masks don't work, asymptomatic people don't spread it. So the entire premise of mandates, citywide shutdowns, keep people from leaving their homes and put the face diapers on at all times, not in any way, shape, or form based on legitimate science, especially as it pertains to coronavirus. I can maybe make an argument for the flu, but as it pertains to coronavirus, no, there's no science that validates that opinion. That thought process, completely gone, shattered. So if you are frustrated like I am, the best thing to do, well, first of all, don't get yourself arrested. Don't do that. It's not going to help. But the best thing you can do is help people understand what the science is actually telling us. Because I saw this earlier today. You explain, here's what the research shows, and somebody says, yeah, well, the CDC said. But the CDC wasn't basing that off of science. They're not basing that off of research. They're basing that off of a doctor that they pay, that doctor's opinion. That's not science. That's propaganda. So be very careful, first of all, who you listen to. If you are just trusting experts, you're wrong, and you are part of the problem. Read, learn, study, get into science. If you find somebody who's a good expert that will read you science and research and literature, listen to that person. Even if they're saying something contrary to what you've been told, that doesn't make the person wrong. It means you need to think. Process the information for yourself. Think. Does this make sense? If it doesn't make sense, that's something inside that's telling you there's a problem here. This isn't adding up. Your intuition is saying there's a problem. Here's your public service announcement from Dr. Jake. Have an amazing rest of your day.